Hey there, this is Craig from Rock Guitar Training. What we're going to do in this video is check out the 11th lick from the Rock Licks Booster course. Now this lick uses the E natural minor scale and it involves doing a lot of hammer-ons, pull-offs, and also it makes use of open strings. So what I'm going to do now is zoom in a lot closer and I'll break the lick down for you. What I'm going to do now is play the lick to the metronome at 2 speeds. And after I've done that, I'll then break down the lick for you. The speeds we're going to do, by the way, are 50 beats per minute, and once I've done that, I'll increase the speed to 100 beats per minute. One, two, three, four. Okay, let's now do the same thing at 100 beats per minute. One, two, three, four. Okay, as you probably heard from the lick, this lick uses a lot of open strings. So what it's doing is working through some notes from the E natural minor scale on the thinnest string, and it's actually comprised of 3 different open string patterns. So we're going to start off at the 12th fret with our first finger, we're going to hammer on to the 14th fret with our third finger, and then we're going to pull off to the open string. And I'm starting that with a downstroke, but it doesn't really matter what picking you use. If you want to use an upstroke, that's fine as well. So this 3-note pattern sounds like this. And then what we do is we move down to the next part of the scale and we play the 12th fret with our third finger. Then we pull off to the 10th fret, which is being played with our first finger. And then we pull off to the open E string. So that's another 3-note pattern, so you could practice that in isolation if you wanted. And then what we do is we move to the next part of the scale at the 8th fret and the 10th fret, and we're going to look at, we're going to play the first 3-note pattern that we did. So that was when you played with the first finger, hammered onto the third finger, and then pulled off to the open string. So this chunk of the lick sounds like this. Then we move to the next part of the scale and we're going to use our second finger at the 8th fret and our first finger at the 7th fret, and we're going to basically pick the 8th fret note, pull off to the 7th fret note, and then pull off to the open string. So that would sound like this. And then to finish the lick off, we're going to sort of move away from the 3-note patterns into a 4-note pattern. And for this one, we're going to play the 5th fret with our first finger, and I happen to use a downstroke to play that note. And then we're going to hammer on to the 7th fret with our third finger, pull off back to the first finger, and then pull off to the open E string. So this chunk of the lick sounds like this. Now if you wanted to, what you could do is take each of those little sort of patterns, the 3-note patterns and the 4-note pattern, and you could experiment with playing through the scale using just that one pattern. So for example, if we took the first 3-note pattern, which did basically this, I could move to the next position and play the same pattern. And the next pattern, the next position. And the next one. And the next one. And you could also shuffle around the scale a little bit. I'm not going to go into great detail here, but you know, once you can play the lick, it's a really good idea to experiment and see what other ideas you can come up with. Okay, so what I'll do now to finish things off is I'll just play through the whole entire lick a few times slowly. And once more. Now if you're not sure about the fingerings I'm using, what I really recommend doing now is going to my website. And what I've done on my website is I've written up a full lesson that gives you a bit more information about how to play the lick. And I've also drawn up some tablature, so that's got all the pick motions and the fingering that I'm using. That's all we're going to do today. Hope you enjoyed the lick, have fun with it. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're unsure of how to play the lick as far as what fingers you need to use, etc., then what I recommend doing now is going to my website and checking out the full lesson. So I've got text and tablature and everything written there.